The descent, when heroes enter the underworld. You don't rise by climbing, you rise by falling, by sinking, by being torn apart. Every real transformation begins underground, not in the light, but in the dark. The descent is not punishment, it is passage, and every myth that ever mattered knows this. Inanna, Orpheus, Odysseus, Jesus, Dante, they didn't descend into greatness, they descended into death, into shadow, into the bowels of reality where truth drips from the walls, because the self you seek is buried beneath you. Inanna, the stripping of power. Inanna's descent into the underworld is the oldest known religious text, dated to around 1750 BCE in Sumerian cuneiform. She is the queen of heaven and earth, a goddess of love, sex, war, and justice. But she chooses to descend to the realm of her sister Ereshkigal, queen of the dead. At each of the 7 gates, she is forced to remove a sacred item, her crown, breastplate, rings, and robe, until she stands naked before death. It is a ritual of ego death, an archetype of spiritual stripping before rebirth. She is killed and hung on a meat hook, but after 3 days she is resurrected, a precursor image of rebirth motifs across civilizations. Inanna does not conquer death, she passes through it. And when she rises, she is no longer just queen of heaven, she is queen of both realms, because to rule life, you must have met death. Orpheus, the cost of looking back. Orpheus comes from Greek mythology, a Thracian musician whose lyre could charm gods and beasts alike. After his wife Eurydice dies from a snakebite, he descends into Hades, the land of the dead, becoming one of the few mortals ever to do so. Even Charon, the ferryman of the Styx, and Cerberus, the 3-headed guard dog, are moved by his music. Hades agrees to release Eurydice, but only if Orpheus walks in front and does not look back until they reach the surface. He fails. Eurydice is lost to him forever. This myth is often read as a lesson in faith, in the tragic cost of hesitation, but deeper still it's a warning. The underworld demands total surrender. Partial trust is no trust at all. Orpheus descended as a lover, but he returned as a poet, forever changed, forever alone, bearing witness to a truth he could not keep. Odysseus, the prophet in the pit. In Homer's Odyssey, composed around the 8th century BCE, Odysseus is told by the witch Circe that he must seek the spirit of the blind prophet Tiresias. To do so, he must perform a necromantic ritual, the Nekuia, by digging a trench and offering blood. The dead swarm to drink, but only Tiresias may speak. Through this act, Odysseus learns how to return home, but also hears from his dead mother and other fallen warriors, including Achilles and Agamemnon. Each one tells him hard truths. Odysseus doesn't go to the underworld for drama. He goes because truth lives in the dark, and no hero returns unchanged, because when you speak with the dead, you see life differently. 3 days in the tomb. In Christianity, Jesus' death is not the end, it is a journey. The Apostles' Creed, a foundational statement of early Christian belief, includes, "He descended into hell." This idea appears in the apocryphal Gospel of Nicodemus, where Jesus descends to Sheol or Hades, the realm of the dead, to free the souls of the righteous, a moment called the harrowing of hell. He is not passive in death. He confronts it. He breaks its gates. He empties it. And only then does he rise. Even in divine narrative, the path to ascension runs through confrontation with death itself. To conquer the grave, you must sit in it 3 days, in stillness, in silence, in surrender. No miracle, no sermon, just the full weight of humanity, dead until the stone is rolled away. Dante, the Map of Descent. Written in the early 1300s, Dante Alighieri's Divine Comedy is one of the most influential works in Western literature. The Inferno, its first part, begins with the line, "In the middle of the journey of our life, I found myself in a dark wood, for the straight way was lost." Dante is led by Virgil, the Roman poet, into the 9 circles of hell, each representing a deeper form of sin. But this isn't torture porn, it's introspection. Every punishment is symbolic. The wrathful drown in their own anger. The greedy are crushed by weight. The traitorous are frozen, incapable of love. The journey is internal. Dante descends not because he is evil, but because he is asleep. Inferno is the mirror, and descent is the awakening. The way out is not denial, it is through the pit. The law of descent. In myth, ritual, and psychology, descent marks the threshold of initiation. Carl Jung called this the night sea journey, the passage through unconscious shadow to reach integration. Joseph Campbell wrote of the belly of the whale, a stage where the hero must be broken before they can be whole. In shamanic traditions, initiates often die in trance or vision, torn apart, scattered, then remade. This is not symbolic for effect. It is the universal structure of becoming. Nothing awakens without first dying. The shadow you refuse. The underworld is not just a place beneath the earth. It is the part of your life you refuse to name, the heartbreak you never grieved, the betrayal you pretend didn't shatter you, the hunger you've buried under self-improvement. Descent doesn't care how spiritual you look. It cares what you refuse to face. You don't get to rise clean. You rise raw, because the only real light is the one you earn in the dark. If you want to rise, first, go down, into the wound, into the ache, into the place that still trembles when no one is looking. Stop asking for clarity, ask for courage. Stop praying for peace, pray for the strength to descend, because it is in that descent that you will meet yourself, not the self you perform, but the one that burns. Let the myths guide you, strip like Inanna, trust like Orpheus, or don't. Bleed like Odysseus, die like Christ, see like Dante. This is not punishment, this is passage. And when you return, if you return, you will not be who you were. You will be someone who knows, someone who has died, someone who has descended and still chose to live.